coronavirus across the country, key players are intensifying efforts towards creating more awareness on COVID-19 vaccines. Plus, anti-corruption fight receives support of civil societies with the advocacy for integrity in public service. These and more on Panorama. I am Ifoma Ojenta. And we begin from the presidency, where President Muhammadu Buhari has communicated the appointment of the service chiefs to the National Assembly, seeking their confirmation by the Senate. In a letter to the President of the Senate dated 27th January 2021, in furtherance of Section 18, subsection 1 of the Armed Forces Act, laws of the Federation of Nigeria, he notes that contrary to fears expressed in some quarters, that President Muhammadu Buhari has bypassed the National Assembly in the process of the appointment of the service chiefs, and that he has no intention of seeking consideration and confirmation of their appointment. Mr. President, upon nomination for appointment, sought confirmation of the Senate for the appointment of Major General Lucky Irabo, Major General Ibrahim Atahiru, Rear Admiral Awal Gambo, and Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Amao as Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, and Chief of Air Staff, respectively. He explained that it is on record that this same procedure was adopted when the immediate past service chiefs were appointed, whereby upon announcement of the appointment of the then service chiefs, the President wrote the 8th Senate on 14th July 2015 for confirmation. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari says the federal government under his watch does not and will not allow religious prejudice or partisanship to influence any of its decisions and policies aimed at taking Nigeria to the next level of socio-economic development. Addressing members of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs during a courtesy visit, the President maintains his solemn disposition to be fair and just to all segments of the society. State House correspondent Tadebo Sambo has the details.
I try to meet with all groups from across the length and breadth of our great nation, as it is both my responsibility and also serves as an opportunity to listen to honest and frank perspectives.
Such frank perspectives by the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, led by the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, were given behind closed doors. President Buhari was, however, emphatic that both in his personal and official capacity, their views and support will not be taken lightly.
The federal government has worked tirelessly to combat insecurity and other challenges that are confronting the country. Security is a protracted problem, but we are not relenting in our efforts. I assure you that the government remains committed to act on behalf of the people of our nation. Educate Nigerians on the need to maintain peace. We don't have to lose peace before we appreciate it.
While thanking the Muslim Ummah for promoting interreligious dialogue in the country, the President reassured all Nigerians that religious freedom will be guaranteed by the federal government as a constitutional responsibility.
If the country must work, we must continue to work together in spite of our ethnic, religious, and political differences, because Nigeria is a collective project. I will also seek your further support in speaking to our people and to help amplify this message through your very tried and tested networks. I implore you not to relent in praying for us. We won't let you down.
President Buhari also made a case for religious leaders to fully back towards ensuring success the Alternative School Program initiative launched recently to not only address Nigeria's high out-of-school rates, but also equip the youth with the right tools in making decisions at every turn of their lives. The president also solicited their support for the genuine efforts at addressing the public health crisis occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic.
As government continues to work towards managing this crisis, it is also critical that you lend your voices in support of those basic but fundamental protocols that can significantly curtail the spread of this disease. Washing of hands, using face masks, and ensuring social distancing as much as possible have been proven to be our first line of defense in the fight against this virus. On the vaccines, which we are working hard to procure for the nation arrive, please join in the drive to educate people that these vaccines are meant to save lives and protect everyone.
Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the successes achieved so far in the Northeast, calling for decisive action against banditry in parts of the northwestern and north-central states, while appealing to Nigerians to refrain from making inflammatory comments that are sowing seeds of discord in the polity and exacerbating the current level of insecurity in the land. The Sultan formally identified himself with a hate speech campaign and called for action. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA.
President Muhammadu Buhari has reiterated Nigeria's commitment to working with the international community towards achieving global peace, food security and sustainable environment. This was while receiving in audience 3 new ambassadors posted to the country on tour of duty. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
The 3 new envoys who are in the State House, Nigeria's seat of government, to present their letters of credence to President Muhammadu Buhari are Ihad Mustafa Awad of Egypt, Faisal Ibrahim Al-Gamdi of Saudi Arabia, and Alejandro Francisco Herrero of Argentina. Addressing the envoy shortly after, President Buhari congratulated them for officially commencing diplomatic functions in Nigeria. He hopes that their respective mandates will be utilized towards improving cordial relations with the country, consistent with the Vienna Convention and global best practices.
Nigeria also enjoys very good bilateral relations with your respective countries. We are to pursue bilateral dialogue as well as build cooperation on the basis of constructive mutual respect in a shared vision for the future. Nigeria is a nation of great diversity, and we are ready to always convert these diversities to advantages.
In addition to the United Nations, President Buhari said all the 3 countries are also members of the G77 and the South-South cooperation, which Nigeria is proud to be associated with. Nigeria and the home countries of the envoys, he said, have common challenges, which include terrorism, insurgency, climate change, population explosion, human trafficking, corruption, poverty, and proliferation of small arms and light weapons.
On top of all this, the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic has come with different strains that pose additional challenges to the initial outbreak. These challenges underscore the need for the international community to work even more in concert to collectively identify appropriate ways and means to globally resolve these challenges.
Ambassador Ihad Mustafa of Egypt, who spoke on behalf of the envoys, assured the president of their commitment to work with his administration to further enhance and strengthen their country's friendship and partnership with Nigeria.
We noted with appreciation the effort exerted to make us feel welcome. We would count on your kind support and guidance to this end.
The 3 new ambassadors were earlier on arrival accorded a befitting diplomatic welcome by officers and soldiers of the Presidential Guards Brigade. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And to health matters now, stakeholders in the healthcare sector and other interest groups have commended the president for signing of an executive order on the enforcement of COVID-19 protection protocols. The executive order, tagged COVID-19 Health Protection Regulation 2021, took immediate effect upon the president's assent and is expected to safeguard the health and well-being of Nigerians in the face of rising COVID-19 cases in the country. The guidelines basically states that any person who contravenes provision of the regulations upon conviction risk a fine or a term of 6 months imprisonment, or both, in accordance with Section 5 of the Quarantine Act. Chairman of the Presidential Task Force and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, had earlier praised the President for giving push to efforts compelling Nigerians to be more vested in their personal safety and embrace collective responsibility for the safety of others around them. In the meantime, as case counts increase across the country, some key players are intensifying efforts towards creating increased awareness and enlightenment of COVID-19 vaccines, especially as Nigeria expects to take delivery of some doses of some of the available vaccines soon. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency is facilitating the latest engagements with Northern traditional rulers at its 2021 first quarter meeting. The core objective is to enhance capacity response of communities to allay fears about the COVID-19 vaccines.
Sustainable global effort in mitigating impact of COVID-19 is gradually shifted to the development and application of vaccines, and collaboration such as this is critical in defeating the scourge. The engagement session, therefore, is to strengthen measures on community awareness and acceptability of COVID-19 vaccination to control the spread of the virus.
The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, which is the federal government agency, with responsibility for vaccine-related matters, has brought together a highly professional and dedicated multi-sectoral team to drive the process of introducing safe and efficacious COVID-19 vaccine.
The Ministry of Health has concerns about getting its job done under those circumstances. Hence this meeting to explain the nature of the vaccine to our traditional fathers in order to gain your support and backing. You being the custodians of community values and custodians of progress.
This is a task that we're committed to doing, but it is a task that we cannot succeed at without the leadership provided by your Royal Highnesses.
Experts say the falsehoods around the COVID-19 vaccines should not prevent Nigerians from allowing themselves to be vaccinated, more so when scientific and clinical examinations have proven the vaccines to be safe and effective.
They followed all the guidelines, all the safety protocols, and they were approved by FDA. So the vaccines are safe and they will protect at least the most vulnerable.
Key players say collaboration will be strengthened to ensure the defeat of the coronavirus pandemic, leveraging on the efficacy of the vaccines and the non-pharmaceutical measures. The two holy mosques in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are also to reopen for Nigerian pilgrims under stringent COVID-19 safety protocols and vaccination.
Vaccine may be a condition for being able to come to Saudi Arabia to perform Hajj this year.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigerian planned nationwide awareness is scheduled to commence soon to ensure compliance with universal safety measures. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
The total revamping of the existing healthcare system in 774 local government areas in Nigeria is expeditiously needed to drastically reduce diseases in the grassroots, just as the second spike of the COVID-19 ravages. This is a position of the National Association of Nigerian Students, who at a media briefing in Abuja expressed fears that Nigeria cannot curb COVID-19 while the poor at the local community level are battling treatable ailments with attendant high maternal and infant mortality.
We further demand the immediate establishment of a new healthcare system that ensures basic healthcare facilities are built in areas of deficiencies in these 774 local government areas, in line with the master plan of the public-private partnerships, which would ensure that all communities in these local governments have access to primary healthcare centers.
Students are advocating proactive action to guarantee better, accessible and quality healthcare system for the populace at rural communities. And for an update on COVID-19, 846 new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in Nigeria in the last 24 hours, spread across 23 states and the FCT. In the new figures released by the NCDC, the FCT tops the list with 129 new infections, followed by Anambra State with 87, then Rivers State with 82 cases. Others are 80 in Benue, 76 in Oyo, 61 in Plateau, 54 in Kaduna, while Delta has 51. Nasarawa State recorded 38 cases, Kwara 36, Edo 32, Katsina 26, Kano 24, Taraba 18, Ogun 14, Sokoto 11 and Gombe 10. The tally is completed by Jigawa with 7 cases, Akwa Ibom and Cross River with 6 each, Zamfara and Bauchi with 5 each, and Osun 4 and Ekiti 2. Nigeria now has 127,024 confirmed cases, out of which 100,853 were treated and discharged, while 1,547 deaths have been recorded, unfortunately. We'll now take a break now. Panorama continues in a moment. Do stay with us.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
Coronavirus is real. Steps to avoid this pandemic. Wash your hands regularly or sanitize your hands. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Stay at home unless absolutely necessary. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth if your hands are not clean. Avoid the spread of coronavirus. Coronavirus is real.
Welcome back. Now, the public hearing on the Petroleum Industry Bill at the House of Representatives turned dramatic following disagreements between some representatives of host communities of Nigeria producing oil and gas. When the group was called to submit its memoranda, a misunderstanding ensued amongst the members, leading to altercations. Security agents had to intervene to restore order. One of those involved
is 10% equity. What I fight was there is because of 10% equity.
One of those involved gave explanation on reasons for the misunderstanding. Now, the anti-corruption posture of the present administration is receiving the support of civil societies with the advocacy for integrity, honesty and accountability in public service. Joshua Ojito reports that 5 public servants honored for their incorruptibility in the discharge of their duties are to lead in the campaign.
From the pool of 812 public servants with an outstanding records of integrity, hard work and incorruptibility, randomly selected across the country for the 2020 Integrity Honor, 5 public servants made it to the Hall of Fame. Jimo Abiola, a divisional officer of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, currently in Badagry, Lagos State. 2 lecturers, a nurse and a civil servant stood out in the discharge of their duties. Their penchant for honesty, accountability and zero tolerance for corruption were their credentials.
Nigeria should expect good things, positive things from me.
To do the right thing, we say we are religious people, so we should follow the teachings of our religions faithfully.
Integrity in service delivery is very important. Whatever you know how to do, make sure you do it perfectly, don't compromise.
When we try to hustle in Nigeria and try to do all of what we do, we try to make quick money and cut corners, and that is where we eventually come across corruption. But we want to encourage people, while you hustle, please hustle in the right way and do the right thing.
Federal government and other development partners are supporting the campaign towards promoting integrity in public service.
If we have a leadership that is supporting this, I see no reason why other civil society organizations will not support the government, support us, support other agencies of government to fight corruption and improve transparency.
The integrity icons are expected to be ambassadors in the public service. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
A former leader of the People's Democratic Party in Kogi East, Friday Makama, has led his supporters to defect to the All Progressives Congress. Chairman of the APC Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Governor Mai Malabuni, received and assured them of equal opportunity irrespective of their status in the party. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Your desire for me to join the All Progressives.
Friday Makama, a notable politician from Kogi East, accompanied by his followers, before Governor Mai Malabuni tore his PDP membership card to show his loyalty as a prospective APC member. Governor Mai Malabuni urged party faithful to take advantage of the party's registration exercise and promised to sustain the efforts of reconciliation.
The mandate given to us as caretaker committee of this party is to reconcile and reposition this party. As a party, we have achieved a lot. We have reconciled so many states, and we are still reconciling, and we are still rebuilding and bringing in more people. I want to assure you the APC will always give you the level field to showcase your potentials.
Meanwhile, materials for the party's registration and revalidation exercise have been distributed to all the 36 states and the FCT. This precedes the trainer workshop held ahead of the exercise. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
And now sports. Quarter-final matches of African Nations Championship CHAN 2021 beckons on Saturday. Ayodeji Makinde has details.
The thrill of African Nations Championship continues on Saturday with quarterfinal pairings as boys were separated from men in the group stage. After COVID-19 forced its delay from 2020 to 2021, 16 teams converged on Cameroon with tags of contenders for a tournament which features footballers plying their trades in their respective national leagues. Hosts Cameroon narrowly escaped elimination in Group A and await two-time champions DR Congo in the quarterfinal as the Eagles of Mali, who led with 7 points in Group A, set up a crunch tie against Congo in the last 8. Defending champions Atlas Lions of Morocco, who have scored 7 goals so far, tackle Chipolo Polo of Zambia before Dark Horses Guinea weigh up Rwanda for size. So far in this year's tournament, 46 goals have been scored in 24 matches, with all eyes on Guinea's Yakuba Bari, who has found back of the net 3 times. Raja Casablanca of Morocco's Soufiane Rahimi leads 6 other players with 2 strikes as the continent's best legs and hands continue to display the strength of their leagues at continental front. While the Super Eagles of Nigeria missed out of this year's championship, the duo of Memisen Eyorhe and Samuel Padutakam continue to justify their selection by CAF as assistant referees for the Continental Showpiece. In addition, the video assistant referee technology has been on display with 25% of spectators admitted in different stadia during the first phase, with an anticipated 50% rise from the quarterfinal stage. So, the race to the final is on and surprises continue as viewers can catch live actions and highlights of CHAN 2021 on the NTA Star Times platform. In Abuja, I'm Ayodeji Makinde, NTA.
And just before we go, remember, you can be a star, connect with the NTA, stand against rape and rapists. That's Panorama for today. Thank you for watching.
In the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, information management is key.
I'm Cyril Stober.
Fatima Umar Buba.
Joseph Johnson.
Ian Ray John.
Muhammad Kudu Abubakar.
Jumba Yusuf.
My name is Kirian Umaya.
Here in NTA, we're working very hard to make sure that everything we broadcast is accurate and up to date. Misinformation spreads very fast.
The social media has been a huge conveyor of misleading information from one individual to another, then to another set of groups. In a short while, it goes viral, and before you know it, it is all over the world.
There have been several misleading information on coronavirus, COVID-19. Recently, the misconception of 5G as a cause of coronavirus is becoming widespread. Another is the belief that hot beverages and alcoholic drinks are internal cleanser for COVID-19, thereby leading to excessive consumption of these drinks.
The use of local concoctions as treatment for COVID-19 are yet to be scientifically proven. However, there has been several theories about the efficacies of these concoctions. We should stay safe and denounce all manner of fake news and misleading information on COVID-19.
For medical advice, go on the WHO website, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC website, or stick with the advisories from the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 or other authentic official sources. NTA is one of them.
with the network service of the NTA.
Sheer adventurism is driving me to go deep into the Onyama mines. It is the biggest coal mine in the whole of South. Well, the coronation of the new Oni is a watershed in the history of the Yoruba land generally, and Ife in particular. Now, because they have a leader now, that will... Simply put, Gura is a beautiful countryside with awesome landscapes. If something differently would be done to the Nigerian textile industries, that our youth will be employed. Attend the church here, can tell you. Service in Holy Rosa is in Benin. We are taking a canoe tour of the communities on the bank of River Niger in Ketsu. The northern end of Jigawa state is a world of fantasy. It is a surreal environment that resonates with life and with the beauty. The life that daily unfolds in this environment is highly organized. It is ceaseless and strident, and it holds great promise of sustained livelihood for the people. Jigawa as a term is a land expression. It is a reference to a soil type that is sandy, a tribute to an extensive area of the state covering over 13 local government areas rich in that soil type. The story of Jigawa state is actually tied to its soils, in a broader sense to its ecosystems. All the beauty and the fantasy that are alluded to here are a product of the life that evolves within given ecosystems. Well, when you talk of environment, Jigawa state presents 3 different kinds of ecosystems. Perhaps one of few states in the country that present 3 different ecosystems. In the southernmost part of it, you find the Sudan savanna. When you are coming down around Hadeja area, around Gumet area, you are confronted with the Sahelian savanna. And then, with the border, going closer to the borders with Niger, you find the desert. There are unique phenomena that are unfolding in the state with regards to its ecosystems. A Gom Arabic farmer in the northern fringes of the state, Rabi Usabo, believes all the ecosystems in the state are fused into one, and one finds features of all the different systems in all areas of the state. He fingered climate change as a major factor on this development.
This is an arid, almost semi-arid or Sahel, whatever you call it, because even now the time is confused. It's getting there is confusion because of the climate change. The forest is getting to be Sahel, Sahelian region. Sahel is getting to be desert because of the climate. Because now desert is encroaching.
Time of the year determine the nature of human activities that prevail in northern Jigawa. Make no mistake about it though, the area is cinematic all year round, and with every passing day, there is a unique story to be told. My recent visit is the onset of rainy season, and this period is phenomenal for its tireless motion. Across all sections of Jigawa state, you encounter herdsmen migrating north from their sojourn down thus to graze their livestock. The incipience of rains around Jigawa stimulate the herdsmen to return and pitch tents around grazing areas that are fertile and safe. This is a particularly large group captured around Hansu, a mega local government area, in their return journey. This kind of movement around this time of the year is relentless in Jigawa. You can capture more than 40 returning groups in one day. When they move with all their worldly possessions of livestock and personal effects, including items of wear, tools for setting up tents and cooking utensils. There is another dimension of this migration. While the Fulani herdsmen returned north from the south, camel herdsmen arrived northern fringes of Jigawa in this time of the year from places as far as Libya, Algeria, and Niger Republic. There is something amazing with this seasonal movement. It is not like the herdsmen have a definite area of settlement. They are guided by their experiences in most cases. They avoid places with a history of farmer-herdsman conflict. They avoid areas where climate change, flood, or desert erode the grass and water provision. That apart, they often tend to return to the same place time and again, insofar as it is safe to do so. The Sahelian ecosystem of Jigawa State influences vibrant transhumans. Actually, Jigawa State is one vast grazing reserve. A Sahelian component creates acres of virgin lands where livestock like camel forage on the predominantly acacia tree that dominate the ecosystem. Jigawa is never short of river systems and small lakes with water that never dries all year round. It is an alluring engagement for the grazers. The land of Jigawa has over time developed all the necessary characteristics for the growth of livestock. I do not have statistics, but the state is one rich breeding ground for livestock. Small ruminants and large livestock like cows and camel, donkeys and mules. The seasonal migration welcomes in nomadic herdsmen, but there is as well vast population of residence herdsmen who of course never move and find all they need for their livestock in their immediate environment. They are a dominating feature of the landscape in Jigawa too. It happens, however, climate change is creating more grazing platform in Jigawa than is deliberately planned. That is the case of Hansuriba. Hansuriba, a mega local government area of Jigawa State today is looking quite very sober. Well, maybe because rainy season is not yet advanced in this part of the country. But when the rainy season is advanced, the river can go into convulsions. And when it does, over 100 square kilometers of it will be flooded. And when that happens, there will be no agriculture. Hundreds of farming families will have to leave the area they are living in. And of course, that means absence of livelihood. But on the other side, on the flip side, you will find that the flooded areas allow for mass grazing for livestock, and Hansu is a place for livestock. Activities of climate change through floods made many parts of Jigawa that hitherto were fertile agricultural lands into wastelands. Not precisely wastelands actually, because grass grows to a vast foraging quantity. It is a case with the areas around Hansu River. The flooding waters from this river wash away the farmland. The story is, if at least crop cannot grow in the farmlands, livestock can grow there. Every day, hundreds of livestock cluster to forage. The river itself and the pools it engenders ensure that the livestock are never short of water. Around Hadeja area, the Hadeja Unguru wetland is yet another example of northern Jigawa cinematography. This wetland creates livelihood and beauty. Wetlands the world over are peculiar water systems that support life on a large scale. The Hadeja Unguru wetland has in fact a global ranking. It is Ramsar site #1 in Nigeria. It is named Marma Channel. The ranking follows a criteria. Hadeja Nguru is a wetland of international importance because of different species of plants, fishes, and other aquatic life that are found there. It is also a land where farming, grazing, fishing, and wild resource collection are carried out in a large scale. This place does not only support the livelihood of the local people, but also people from around Nigeria and beyond do come to survive on the resources of the area. This informs the Ramsar ranking. We have actually done a report on this water system before, where we look at some of its potentials and the human activities that daily occur here. For long, the wetland has been at the crossroads. A new story is emerging there now. An interesting life is unfolding among the communities in the Hadeja Nguru wetland. Hundreds of thousands of them. Beautiful. Every day, people find livelihood here, and not ordinary livelihood. Livelihood in a big way.
Prior to 1974 drought, this area was a very vast, fertile, and very beneficial to the communities around. All these occupations I was talking about were fully engaged by the communities living around these areas. But presently, the story is a bit different. With the coming of the weeds of typha grass and what we call ergai, the story is different. The channels are blocked. Farmlands have been overtaken by this typha grass. The grazing areas are overtaken by the typha grass. The same, the fishery resources are affected by it. In fact, formerly the fishery resources, the inland generation from this area within the Nigerian nation is 6%. Now it's less than 0.6%.
There are cheering developments taking place around Hadeja Nguru wetland now, and the good old days may be here again. We took canoe ride along the major channels of the wetland, where the story is pleasing to hear.
The Yobe state government and the Jigawa state made some efforts in trying to open up the channels so that the water can flow downstream. The same communities around were mobilized to be taking actions. The surrounding communities form an organization called the Wetland Development Initiative, whereby they come together right from Gashua to this area. They come to open up the channels so that water can flow downstream. When water goes down the stream, those having excess water will have a reduction. Those having scarce water will not have water. You see, the equation will be balanced.
The critical issue with the wetland is with the blockade created by typha grass, and how for over 40 years this blockade along the Burungana channel stops large-scale fishing and crop cultivation. Tefida is on the front line of activities to see the wetland lives to its promise. Alaji Tefida, I'm interested in this place. Beautiful, like it.
Very beautiful. And in fact, this channel is very important, especially to the communities living around.
Okay.
It supplies water for farming, grazing, fishing, and what have you.
Obviously.
Yes.
And how extensive it is? We have been moving for the past
very extensive. Right from where we are, we can reach out to Tarabu axis.
And that's how many kilometers?
From here, it may take up to the Tarabu axis, maybe about 40 kilometers within the water system.
We are using a canoe. You can see we are being paddled, and movement is very difficult, obviously. The channels are very deep, and any silly mistake, you can end up over 20 feet underwater. And honestly, I don't know how to swim. So don't mind how we do the interview, but the intelligence is more important. So you can see wheat all along all the channels.
Formerly, previously, around 1970s, these weeds were not around, even though they are indigenous. What I mean by being indigenous, even the typha grass we have been talking about has been in this place for years. Yeah. but due to the seasonality of the river system, as of then, it comes on and off. What I mean on and off is during the wet season, you see it growing. During the dry season, when the water withdraws back to the channels, it dries up till next year. But with the development of the upstream dams, the water becomes permanent. Due to that, the reproductive system of this species being two phases, by seed and rooting system, it reproduces very fast. And whenever there is water presence, the seed lands, then it develops.
So dam systems actually affected the...
Yeah, it is part of what contributes to these manners.
We saw signs of real effort to degrade the taipa grass along this channel by community efforts. This is the main channel of the Hadeja River as it links with the two channels of Burangana and Likori. Ideally, the water flow is supposed to be 75% across Burangana channel, which flows and empties at Lake Chad, and which allows extensive fishing, grazing, and palm walks across its over 800-kilometer journey, and then 25% across Likori channel, which empties in Unguru, some 30 kilometers away. It has been the reverse all along, but the dredging now is opening the Burangana channel, and water and large-scale agriculture are flowing along the channel. Yes, one of the most exciting features of Hadeja Unguru wetland is, of course, its tourism potentials. Now, look at our trajectory, our movement along the Likori channel, downstream of Burangana. Beautiful and exciting as it is. But then, obviously, apart from the beauty of the area, you can look at both sides of the channel. At both sides of the channel, it is overtaken by weeds, invasive weeds, that's not allowing the farmers to either fish or to move freely in the water. In fact, along most of these channels, there are blockades, and the blockades are creating unnecessary impediments to the farmers and to the water system itself. I am being indulgent in this water. It is interesting to travel in it, but I want to link up with the fishermen who may be fishing along this area. Although it is afternoon, and fishing in the afternoon is not too lucrative around this area, that's what the local communities say. But then, of course, let us see whether we can get some fishermen on the act or in the business of fishing. We actually ran into a group of fishermen falling their nets and making a show of their catch. Life is strong and beautiful here, but the time of our trip of the area does not agree with the timing for active fishing. There are people who are opening the debate on how to make Hadeja Unguru wetland come back to its glorious days. Their simple solution is that international fisheries and water laws must be complied with in this area. The water laws in particular specify that artificial water channels should not be created here, and poison should not be used within the water system, and the water system should not be tampered with. The issue is that many farmers around the area believe that the canalization of Hadeja River along Auyu brought about the invasive taipa grass and stops agriculture short around the wetland. In reality, the wetland continues to support life, even with the multiple challenges that often weigh it down. We visit a community in the territory of the wetland whose life depends 100% on what the environment has to offer. They are the Matachu community, who are in direct neighborhood with the active channels of the wetland. These people are into all year-round agriculture. In fact, they are through the irrigation farming for the year now when we came visiting, and are making preparations for the rain-fed agriculture. Agriculture in this place requires no fertilizer. The soil produced with integrity too. Malam Abdullahi Mekano has been doing this agriculture here for over 20 years.
This is our livelihood actually. It is where we believe we survive and do everything here. We don't have any farm rather than this place now. So we farm sorghum, maize, and the rice. The floodplain from here to Tarabu area, from here up to Guli. So it is more than 50 kilometers lying down here. And it is a very nice wetland actually. See, if you see how people are farming everywhere in this place. So there are plenty of farms, and the problem is that we have a hard mess.
Malam Abdullahi says herdsmen and flood are the only problem to their agriculture. So how is the water situation around this? Because it seems like there is dry here because the water is not.
No, it is because of the dry season. If it is a wetland, a wet side, or wet time now, it is all these places exploded. The place is whole flooded here. You can't see even 2 meters soil here. I'm telling you, all these places, even up to this village level, it is up to there. So I just manage like that.
Okay.
If it is during the rainy season, you can see more than 100 or 200.
I would like you to look at the camera. I would like you to look at.
Can you see now? Yeah. So all people are going through when they are going there now. Okay. They have to go through the canals.
They go through the canal.
You have to go through canals. You can't go to the farm without canal. It is necessary.
So it's everybody here, so like, it's like a canoe man?
Yeah, it's a canoe man. You must have a canoe. Because if you don't have a canoe, you can't go here. You can't go to the farm. And all this land, you know, if you pass this place now, if you go down that trees, it is where we have the upland areas.
You have an upland area, you have another?
We have upland areas down there, down that trees, where you see that trees now.
Okay.
It's an upland area.
So you are planning to do in agriculture here? Mm-hmm. Okay, so and it's profitable, it's nice?
It's profitable, it's very nice. So all the problems we have here is the herdmen. We are facing them serious. We have facing problems of herdmen. When we plant trees, plants, when they arrive, then the people will come and start destroying them. That's the major problem in this place. We try all our possible best for the authority to come and cap the situation. It's not possible.
It is rather curious that the community in Madachi want government to canalize and dam the wetlands to allow them a more organized farming. Definitely, they are not privy to effects of the dam system in Auyo, the flow of water along Burangana and Lokori channels. But surely, the people of Madachi are in direct relationship with the herdsmen. They are never far away from one another. The landscape is a picture of the agricultural flatlands that are always waiting to be cultivated, and the ominous pictures of herdsmen pitching tents across the stretch of the land. We do not live in Madachi, however, without an episode. Baturia is internationally known and recognized because as a tourism center, it harbors both indigenous and migratory birds. And more than that, it has plant species that are of various kinds and that are still subject of study among many scholars, especially botanists. Baturia Bird Sanctuary is a rare ecology within Hadeja Ungur wetland. It covers 320 square kilometers, including the buffer zones. It cuts across 3 local government areas of Jigawa, Auyo, of birds, migratory and indigenous species. It has different varieties of plant lives too, of which acacia is the most dominant. The acacia trees, which are invasive and with a domineering presence, are the main sanctuary of the birds. We actually come here to have a noble picture of rare birds. We target evening when the birds will be returning home to roost. It so happened, however, that we saw very few birds. Our guides told us that November, December, and January are the peak periods for bird sighting, when most migratory birds arrive to escape winter in Europe, or they have come to lay eggs and hatch them. It so happened that every community within the reservation area has a water point. In actual fact, there used to be over 100 functional water points here. Only 15 functional ones remain now. The forest is rich too in wildlife, especially warthogs, duikers, jackals, monkeys, and monitor lizards. We have not seen any, but the forest guides say they are a common sight. Baturia is a forest concentrate, and the people say deforestation, encouragement by pastoralists and poachers are driving the birds away and eroding its value and beauty. We are in fact witness to a case of bird poaching, which nearly translates into real-life standoff between a forest guard and a poacher. As we go through the routine of our work, we had a gunshot which echoes heavily across the bush. A forest guard ran after the gunshot and in no time returns with a hunter's gun and a hapless white-faced whistling dog dead. It was killed by a poacher who dropped his gun and prize and took to the bush on seeing the guard. Well, in Baturia Game Reserve, there are some challenges, especially with the encroachment and especially with the poaching. This bird has been shot, and as we were taking pictures, we had the gunshots. So the reserve guards here rushed and they found these people who were doing it. They shot this bird, and this is their tool by which they shot it. Now, continually, the people at the reserve are complaining about poaching. What do they do about it? Because people from all over the world come here for these birds. Now, if they are made to go away or to extinct, what happened to them? I think that is their challenge. But we are talking about poaching.
Yeah.
You can see this bird and the guns. What are you doing in different
Actually, it's a great problem. One of the issue we have is lack of staffing. Our work is supposed to be 24 hours round table. Unfortunately, due to lack of staffing, we do it half day activity. Okay. And these people that come to shoot these birds normally watch us when we move out. Then they come to the place and start their activities. Fortunately, now we have come with you as visitors. That is why we are able, God is so kind, we are able to catch them red-handed. And now we are taking them to the court for them to be penalized.
The poachers were later apprehended and they will be prosecuted. In fact, a neighboring community identified them as regular poachers who always park their black vehicle by a bridge and poach wildlife. A third dimension to the story is that their leader is a senior special assistant to a prominent politician in the state. Events like this, although tragic, will never extinguish the glory, the livelihood, and the drama that daily unfolds in the northern fringes of Jigawa.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
NTA International.
Glad to have you join us for another edition of Dateline 360. I am Omotola Omojola. The federal government of Nigeria has in recent times rolled out several intervention programs targeted at rural empowerment, from the Trader Money Scheme to the Survival Funds and now the Special Public Works Program. The Special Public Works Program, which is employing 1,000 Nigerians per local government area across the 774 local government areas, is redefining the lives of citizens and will run for the next 3 months. Wondering about my certainty? Wait till you hear from our correspondents. I'm sure you also have questions about remuneration and the exit strategy. The details will come to you in a bit. Stay with us. The concept of rural development as embraced by countries connotes a process through which rural poverty is alleviated, and rural development is said to be veritable for achieving the overall economic prosperity of any country. In this report, Ifeanyi Ezumba takes a look at the Special Public Works Program in relation to governmental efforts at impacting rural communities economically.
A major challenge every responsive and responsible government contends with is to make life better and meaningful to its citizenry, especially those in the rural communities. The Nigerian government, since its independence, has put up one strategy or the other aimed at alleviating the sufferings of the people and putting smiles on the faces of the governed. To win the war against poverty in the country, President Muhammadu Buhari initiated the extended Special Public Works Program aimed at addressing mass unemployment among the unskilled youths. FCT administration maintained that the interventionist program, which was approved in October 2019, was specifically for 1,000 persons, each from all the 774 local government areas of the country, for temporary employment during the dry season. This initiative, youths from the FCT says it has given them a sense of belonging.
It's a welcome development, and I think it will go a long way to reduce unemployment in Nigeria, especially among the female youth.
Not choosing about a job, but as far as the job is it's worth it and it's payable, I can easily pay my needs. I don't think I need any reasons to be selective.
We should try as much as possible and then handle it to the grassroots. They shouldn't allow the local government to handle it, because if care is not taken, they won't do it the way they ask them to do it. That is where the challenges we are facing.
You know, it has been like this. We have something to do. So that the moment you leave this, you have something to do. If salary is not worth coming, you have something to do. But the moment you depend on white-collar job, where salary is not being paid, problem will come. But you have something to do it to help you and help the people and the country at large.
This Special Public Works project is really going to be of great service to them. And in the area council where I preside, that is Abuja Municipal Council, we almost have a similar, scheme, though not in the same format, but our own skills and job creation unit has in the last 4 or 5 years been doing specifically what the special project of the federal government is going to commence now. So for me, it's not going to be anything new. We have been doing it, and we just continue to complement the effort that has just come in.
Though the program is not new, What is novel is the fact that this is the first time Nigerian government is focusing on unskilled workers. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Ezumba for Deadline 360.
And from Abuja, we move to Asaba, where Rosemary Omani reports that beneficiaries are grateful for the opportunity and that their jobs is mainly the maintenance of public properties within their communities.
One-of-a-kind project has been launched in Nigeria, January 2021, by the federal government. It is the 774,000 Jobs Project, also known as Special Public Works Project, through the Office of the National Directorate of Employment, NTA. Program is meant to grow grassroots economy, maintain public properties, clean the environment, and put food on the tables of the rural unemployed this COVID-19 period. 1,000 persons, especially youths, in each local government area of all states were engaged with 20,000 naira remuneration each month. In Delta State, program was flagged up in Asaba, Oshimili South local government area on 5 January 2021. Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, SAN, was in Efrun, Uwe local government area of the state for same purpose on 7 January 2021.
The President has graciously released to us for payment of stipends. 46.4 billion naira has been released. For Delta State alone, the sum of 1.59 billion naira has been released. So that is the money that will enter the grassroots in Delta State. This money will inflate the economy at the grassroots level. I've always begged my state selection people, I've always begged the state directors of ND, please give women more slots. I beg now. The women will manage this money more than the men.
We remain irrevocably committed to its successful implementation with the support of our amiable and infatigable Minister and Chairman of the NDE Board. I want to assure Nigerians that at the NDE we are equal to the task.
Beneficiaries have already swung into action in Asaba, maintaining the Federal Secretariat and other government facilities. They said the project has impacted on their livelihoods and they intend to manage their pay and be self-reliant afterwards.
1 naira is something, 2 naira is something, and from what we hear from government that they are going to pay 20,000 naira. I think with 20,000 naira, one can be able to pay his rent and take care of some basic needs in the family.
I really appreciate this job because I don't have none for now, and I know it will help me and my family. This work is to me is good because at least a little thing starts from the beginning. At least no matter how small it is something to us. It meant a lot to us. They still recognize us, so we are grateful.
State Coordinator NDE Tony Chooks said project is living up to expectations.
The program has commenced in earnest in the Delta State, and the participants are happy for having something to do and looking forward to their stipend at the end of the month. The jobs involved here ranges from rehabilitations of our roads, traffic control, clearing of road shoulders linking the communities, so that we discover that some of these road shoulders have been abandoned. They look so bushy when you are driving in the rainy seasons. Then they also do environmental sanitations in public places, the health centers. And the graduates among them are also used by they send them to government offices where they can work as clerical hands. Teachers can be sent to schools because this program has two components of participants. This is unskilled and the graduates. The unskilled do these manual aspects. We use the graduates we engage them into posting them to government offices.
Whether or not the program and beneficiaries will be retained after 3 months by host local governments, only time will tell.
If the governor gives a go-ahead, why not? We can take as many as is being approved for us, because definitely there is something for them to do.
It is going to help remove so many youths from the streets, take away so many hoodlums from the corners, the nook and crannies of our localities, and engage them You can't imagine what 20,000 naira would do for our youths in the rural areas. So it's a very laudable initiative. How I wish it could extend beyond the 3 months duration. If it runs for 1 year, like the Empower program, it would have been so beautiful.
I believe there will be other ways for government to empower youth. Give them permanent team.
Enough working tools and face masks were made available for the workers. In Asaba, I am Rosemary Omani.
In Ogun State, Yemi Dalemo reports that beneficiaries of the 774,000 special public works say they are determined to take advantage of the gesture to contribute their quota to the socio-economic development of Nigeria as a way of justifying the objectives of the program. He also says the youth from the 20 local government areas of the state are engaged in multi-sectoral operations.
Omawumi Abdul, a resident of Odeda local government area of Ogun State, is a 32-year-old graduate of educational management who completed the mandatory National Youth Service Corps in 2013 and was unemployed until the opportunity of the 774,000 Special Public Works Program beckoned, and so she was lucky to be enlisted for the program. Her major work is to clean the premises of the Odeda local government, the duty she described as a unique community service and also an opportunity to contribute her quota towards the development of the local government area.
Leaving aside what I'm going to get from the program, being able to clean my community is the major thing I think I can say I'm okay with, because at least I've one way or the other impact into my community by doing sanitary work.
Badola Gafar and Oyindamola Fajobi, both from Abeokuta North local government area, who had been searching for jobs for over 3 years, nothing gladdens their heart than being employed under the scheme.
Federal government, thank you very much for providing this opportunity.
I really appreciate the federal government for coming up with this initiative.
On what to do with the monthly stipends they are receiving, which they described as a rare opportunity, these beneficiaries from Ogun State say the money will be saved to enable them start a small business at the expiration of the 3 months program so as to be self-reliant.
We have what we call the desk officer, is another level of monitoring. The desk officer from the local government does monitoring too. Then the state office, SPW officers, also is another layers of monitoring.
Stakeholders say the impact of the federal government's Special Public Works Program in uplifting and effecting socio-economic changes in the country cannot be overemphasized, and it also serves as a potent instrument in empowering the youth.
To be clean, then the money they will be collecting, that will be tripling effect because they will use the money to buy from the market.